if you're struggling with the job market right now, just know that I literally was offered a job, signed a legal contract, was told to quit my current job, was meted and greeted by the whole team, gotten coffee, so excited to have you next week. And then on my last day of my 2 weeks notice for the job that they told me to quit, I was told that the company did not have the funds to bring on a new person and they were rescinding my offer.
Dual role teacher / office assistant, okay? In Georgia, where's the pay? $8 a fucking hour, bro. Oh my God. It's 2 roles. It's a teacher and office assistant for $8 an hour, dude. What? It makes no fucking sense, dude. I just can't do this shit anymore. I can't do it, man. Unfucking real. The fuck out of here.
There's this really crazy theory going on right now because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or got a call back. And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies and holding on to it because right now data is the new gold. And that's kind of scary. What do you think?
I just found the most toxic red flag everywhere job listing, and I have to share it. Okay, I won't tell you what the company is, but I am reading word for word from their job listing. If you get overwhelmed easily and your life is a mess, this isn't for you. If you're looking for a cushy job with tons of time off, healthcare benefits, ping pong tables, and the ability to switch off when you leave the office, this isn't for you. Working at requires you to be a winner, not a whiner. We're looking for high performers who are so effective, they can do the work of 2 people without breaking a sweat. What? You want me to do the work of 2 people? I have to work 24 hours, 7 days a week, and I may or may not even get health benefits. The salary isn't even listed. I kind of want to report it. Should I report it? I know there are workaholics out there and that might resonate with some people, but the sad part for me is that there are 68 applicants for this job already.
We know that the job market in 2025 is kind of upside down. We have job posts that get posted on a regular basis and still people are unable to find jobs. And there are those who actually find the jobs and find that the company is actually lying to you and don't even want to give you the job. And here today we're going to be focused on crazy job listings and job demands that these companies want from you, and some very, very bad stories in terms of what people are actually going through in interviews. You can just imagine that every time when you go for an interview and you have a bad experience, and interviews are actually wasting your time because sometimes that you find that there's multiple interviews for the same company and for the same position. So we're going to be focused on these things today and going through some of the stories that people are actually coming across.
If anyone wants to know how the job market is going, I just finished up with an interview and I wrote down the most ridiculous things he said in that interview before I politely declined. And I'm going to go ahead and read them off to you because my mom was floored. Okay. So the first thing, after he asked me all of the very surface level bullshit questions, he goes, I'm going to lower your expectations and tell you there will be no promotions ever. You will be stuck in the same role as long as you are with us. So no room for growth. This is literally how he said it, right? Then he says, we are expected for you to work the 8 hours through besides your 30-minute unpaid lunch break. You are not allowed to touch your phone in any capacity or it will be a problem. Then he goes on to say that even your bathroom breaks are monitored and the environment is fully monitored. All eyes will fully be on you at all times. Okay. Then, of course, I have a vacation booked in July, which is obviously not smart for someone looking in a job, but usually jobs work around it if it's just one that's further away. in the hiring process. So I mentioned that to him. He said, that's not going to work. You can only take off the amount of PTO days that you have accrued, and you're not allowed to take off any PTO days until 3 months into your job hunting or your job training. I said, okay, let me just shut my trap about that, right? Then he goes, then he says, have zero expectations to ever have a salary increase. He says it doesn't matter if you've worked 1, 2, or 5 years with us, your salary will remain the same. And then the pay was $20 to $23 an hour. I said, can you meet me at 25? Because that's like bare minimum for me. And he laughed in my face and he said, that's not going to work. 23 is our max. You could take that, or unfortunately the position's not for you. So that is when I wrapped it up. I said, thank you so much for your transparency, but this will not work. And that's the job market that we're dealing with. Mind you, my credentials, I have a bachelor's, a partial master's, and I have 3 years of professional experience as a research analyst.
What's good about this company is that there's transparency, but what's not good is all the happenings. Imagine you're working for 5 years, you don't even get an increase, and these are companies that will expect you to go above and beyond, and definitely that 8 hours that they require you to work, I'm sure there will be some overtime that's included there. Imagine inflation keeps on increasing but your salary is just stagnant. The best thing, the worst thing, not the best thing, the worst thing is that in the recent time, your qualification doesn't really matter. You can have up to a master's or a PhD or an MBA, whatever. You can have all these qualifications, but these companies are not gonna pay you your worth because they're looking to cut cost and actually exploit candidates, which is a bit sad, but that's what we're actually seeing happening. And these companies are not afraid, maybe because of regulations are allowing them, and we're just going to continue to see these on the rise. And yeah, it seems like it's a fairly bad time in terms of Gen Z and looking for jobs, because it just seems like everything is working against us.
The time is 1:16 a.m. and I simply just had to come straight to a video so I don't crash out. My friend, who is my don't crash out person, is asleep right now, so I just simply got to make this video. This job market is absurd. I applied and interviewed for a job in December. January 14th, the manager called me and gave me a verbal offer. Okay, she said, you're going to start by February 1st, but we don't have the official date yet, but it's before February 1st. Cool. I follow up, you feel me, after a bit, it's been a week, hadn't heard nothing, whatever, didn't get nothing. So then I got an out-of-office message, and there was a person in her out-of-office message. I looked that person up on LinkedIn. It appears they're the director of talent acquisition, which is this person's boss, the recruiter's boss. So I messaged him and said, hey, I've been talking to such and such. I got a verbal offer on the 14th. She told me I was supposed to start. Haven't heard from her. Can you help me out? This person basically says, I'm not aware of any offer. I don't know nothing about what you're talking about, but I'll let you know. All the while, I also emailed the man that I interviewed with, who would have been my boss, and pretty much said the same thing. This man just messaged me. He just messaged me and said, thank you for reaching out. I was surprised to hear that you were given an impression of a verbal offer, as we did not extend one. Please hold for recording.
We have official confirmation our client has signed, and so we are just waiting on official start dates. But
Okay.
he wants you to be a consultant. If it's something you are still interested in.
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic.
Hold on. Let me fast forward. But where are we going to be able to land for an hourly rate?
Oh, great. Did y'all talk about that? Or were you able to talk about
We did
kind of what
talk
you're
about it.
looking for?
I told him what my range was, and he just kind of said that that's in the ballpark. But he said that he had to, wait until like the final contracts or whatever to see what they're able to pay.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't see any issue with. I don't think I'm gonna get any pushback on that.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the message now. I'd like to clarify this and better understand what was communicated to ensure there was no confusion. I sincerely apologize for the misunderstanding. Now, me being me, because I am who I am, I responded and I said, oh, and I CC both of them other people. Thank you for your email. I have attached the recording from the phone call where she explicitly gave me the offer. Don't play with me. She specifically said, our client has signed, so we are still waiting for official start dates. He wants you to be a consultant if that's something you're still interested in. This was not an impression I had. It was verbatim. I believe it's important for you to hear this for clarity. Further, I go, that said, I think it's crucial going forward that your company operates with integrity and honesty. It's essential to avoid leading potential employees on, especially when there may not be clear intentions or alignment from the outset. I was genuinely excited about this opportunity to work for a company for this company, and I thought it was going to be a perfect fit.
How is this allowed where companies are actually lying to candidates? This is the same story as the first video that we heard about the lady who had actually even signed the contract, but on the day that she finished her notice on the other company, that's when they decided to actually backstep. Like, how is this allowed? I feel like there needs to be some sort of legal thing that's actually put in place to actually protect candidates and enable candidates to be able to sue these companies that actually go ahead and lie. Because you can just imagine that they give you an offer and you accept the offer, you even sign the contract, then the company actually starts to backstep. Either they feel that maybe your salary range is too high, or someone is just bad management and they don't want someone to come to the company who actually potentially earn more than them. But on the other side, some of these companies are actually don't even want to pay. They actually don't want to pay, and the environment is very toxic. And the clip that's coming up will show you in terms of an experience of what other employees have to go through once they've gotten in these companies. So the next lady is going to show us what she goes through with a manager on a daily basis.
Why did you say that we can meet to discuss coverage and then go out of office without telling me?
I don't recall having that happen. Son, apparently you missed the meeting where we talked about it.
Where was it talked about?
In casual conversation. And
like, I should be aware of these things, you know? Like, I should have some awareness to it if my manager's not going to be here.
How would you like to be made aware?
To be told, you know? Like,
okay.
What meeting was this information shared on that I wasn't a part of? Like, where...
We have team meetings all the time, and we talk about all kinds of stuff, so...
And it feels like a lot of my roles, like, were just kind of ignored for a week, and then I have to come back and deal with, like, the repercussions.
Well, I'm sorry that you have work to do, but no, we didn't do mini access requests last week because we were in... Listen to me. Because there was only a handful of them.
I know, but I still, like, I got everything handled to where it was at a good point, and I'm coming back to utter chaos. And
no, Allison, the utter chaos, honey, is caused by this IT transition.
I don't know what's been completed. I don't know what still needs action.
When you have such management, you need to keep your CV ready to apply. I think the best thing to deal with bad toxic environment is to always keep your applications ready, because these managers are gonna abuse you. And it's a sad that this lady has to go through this on a daily basis, especially when you go to work. And the best thing that you can do is just to remove yourself from that company and leave them with their toxic
I've been
environment.
seeing more and more disturbing and disgusting interview stories about people that are job seekers and really hunting for a job desperately, making people jump through flaming hoops only to tell them they don't have the job. First one that I heard about was this girl who went through several rounds of interviews, and she ended up getting invited to like an after party, like after work situation. She went and everybody was there and everything just seemed like it was going so well. Like she had this in the bag. She was so excited about it. But then she found out that the other people that were there, a bunch of them were like basically vying for that same role. They ended up not hiring her, which is just absolutely disgusting. The other story was about this awful toxic boss that invited 5 people to an interview. So they all showed up dressed, ready, showed up at 7 a.m. By 3 p.m., 3 of them left. Boss hadn't showed up even by 3 p.m. They all got there at 7 a.m. This person still was not there to interview them by 3 p.m. 3 of them left. Understandably so, right? I wouldn't have even waited that long. By 5 p.m., the boss shows up. The 2 people that were left got the job. They tried to give this impression that it was that they were looking for someone with patience and that, you know, what? No, they were looking for a doormat. That's all that was. But I was kept in an interview from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. I met with so many departments and they took me to lunch only to tell me days later that they decided to go with another applicant. Absolutely disgusting. People are wasting people's time and it's pissing me off.
There's one company that I will never work for just because of the one time I went through the interview process there. So when I was just out of university, I was going through the typical job hunt, and it was really my first time seeing just how awful it is and just how monotonous and painful it is to be sending hundreds of applications, hundreds of unique cover letters, and all of that. But there was one company, one tech company, it was a pretty prestigious one, especially in the city I live in, and I got, my first interview. And the first interview went well, and I think I went through 4 or 5 more rounds after that, and I was feeling pretty confident. I got to the final round interview, went through it, felt pretty good about it, and then I waited about 2 weeks to hear a response. And then I finally got the response, and I didn't get the job. Now, not getting the job on its own doesn't really bug me. Honestly, it was a role that I now actively realize I hate. What infuriated me was when they sent me an email asking me to review the interview experience. Now, at first I was like, all right, yeah, you know what? Cool, look at you, trying to make it better for future hires and future interviewees. I didn't do it, I was busy, and a week later, they sent me another email as a reminder to rate the interview experience, and they gave me a deadline. They said, this is due by, June 30th. You didn't fucking hire me. What's the audacity of giving me a deadline to review an interview process for which I got rejected?
Bro, the job market's cooked, nigga, the economy's cooked, everything fried, bro. I'm post-grad, right? I graduated at 24, right? I know what day it is now. Nigga. It's damn near a year of me trying to find a job. I thought that I was safe because I fly planes, right? I don't fly the airline. Anyway, I fly planes. Nigga, nobody's hiring. Everybody's posting jobs, nobody's hiring. It don't make sense. Bro, I went to this one spot, right? I'm so flexible. I will work and fly planes in any state, any place. I went to Hawaii, right? To Hawaii to apply to a job. She says, you know what? I decided, white woman, by the way, white woman. She said, I decided I only want to hire locals. This bitch is from Nebraska. The fine young lady is from Nebraska. What do we mean locals? You're not local. What are you talking about? Local? So I lied. Actually, I live here. I don't. But anything to get a job, please get hire me. I said, I live here. She said, mind you, I'm in California at the time. She's like, okay, well, can you fly here tomorrow? I got the bag. Yes. First flight, red eye. I said, yes. She said, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. Exactly. You wasn't expecting that. Nigga, expect the unexpected. So she was like, okay. She started making up shit, right? Start making up stuff. Oh, well, actually, we only have a part-time position. Hire me. Fuck it. I'll work. And I work for free. Fuck it. So she told me, so we only got a part-time position. I said, okay, cool. Bet. I'll pull up. Why not? She said, well, actually, it's always a well, actually. So then she put me onto this other spot. The other guy was hiring. I called him up. Hey, man, I'm a pilot. I got this, and this. All the requirements he need, I got them. I said, I got this requirement, right? He said, oh, cool, great. He said, can you come tomorrow? Yes. He said, do you live on an island? No, but I'm moving. right? These are all the answers I'm giving him lying, but I can though. He's like, okay, bet, where are you from? I said, California. He said, oh, you're from California? You're not from the island? Yeah, you got me there. You got me there. I said, no, but I'm moving there in a week. He said, oh, okay. He said, do you have this? I said, yes, I got this. He said, do you have this? I said, yes, I got this. He said, do you have this? I said, yes, I got this. Nigga. I hang up the, he said, okay, perfect. He said, matter of fact, fly here on this date for this time, blah, blah, blah. Bet, I'm gonna buy the ticket. I email him, right? We hang up, email him. Hey man, this is the ticket date I'm coming. Are we confirmed for the interview? Ghosted me. So then I called back. I'm like, hey man, I haven't bought my ticket yet because you haven't confirmed the thing. He said, oh, I thought you already bought the ticket. If you can't make it here tomorrow, I got other people coming for the job. I bought the ticket immediately. I called back, hey, I bought the ticket. Oh, you're coming tomorrow? I thought you wasn't gonna come. Anybody that needs pilots or hiring.
One good sign that a company doesn't want to hire you is that they're gonna make you to do so many interviews. I mean, why would you wanna do 5 rounds of interviews? I mean, what the hell are you asking? Like, isn't that gonna be repeated in terms of questions? I do know someone who I used to work with. That guy used to attend 3 interviews for a company, then they just ghost him, and you find that interview, each of it is about 1 hour. So you are telling me that I need to waste 3 hours of my time talking to people who are full of nonsense and they're not gonna employ me? Like, it's just bad. There's just some companies that I know, especially in my industry where I work there, I know that these companies are full of nonsense and they're gonna be busy asking so many interviews. The moment I see that, I just don't apply. I just skip that role. And the other thing that I skip, the moment I see a cover letter or as I've already given you my resume, I'm not gonna apply. So there's so many ways that these companies are actually wasting the time of candidates. Sometimes they call the candidates and promise to employ them, or they just call so many candidates even though they want one candidate. Now you're wasting all these candidates' time. I mean, isn't time supposed to be money? You're supposed to be investing all this time working and growing the company. Why interview so many people as you know that you need one person? So the take-home message in terms of this video is that a lot of these companies have created crazy demands and they don't want to pay for all those demands, and on top of that, most of these companies are busy lying to candidates, and this is something that needs to be regulated. Don't blame kids today when they see that they want to be dancing on TikTok, because it seems like the job market is so bad to the point that those who are making money off social media, they seem to be better off, because yeah, it's just bad for everyone. Yeah, that's all that I have in store for you. And for those who are new, I would really appreciate if you can like this video and subscribe so that we can grow the channel. As you can see that the subscribers numbers are very low. And as always, I'll see you same time, same place. Bye.